All right, guys, thank you for tuning in to Next Question with Vinny and special guest Rachel today. Boom, son, give me some. Let me cleanse my palate. I just had a little ham, green beans, and potato mixture that Jenny concocted, and it was absolutely beautiful. And then we're going to get rocking here. Hold on now. Hold on, Rach.
I'm just getting ready.
What's up, Instagram? We're going to get rocking now. I know, I got Ray. Oh, my goodness.
You
Flip
have
that
to say
camera.
where Jenna Lee is.
Yeah, Jenny's sick. She's sick, so I fired her, and I brought in the ringer.
That's me.
Rachel, say it once dog training. All right, let's get rocking here, Rach.
All right. First question.
Yeah, I love the enthusiasm right out of the gate. Let's get rocking.
5-month-old puppy struggling with being hyper or pulling when seeing other dogs in public. Doesn't have much socialization. On walks, we walk past other dogs with some pulling, but not much. The excitement comes from public places like Petco, etc. Need some advice on how to keep him calm in these situations. Other than that, the training is going great.
Cool. So he's a 5-month-old dog, man, and it sounds like at this point you have yet to add in a training collar to the dog's life. This is where we would add in that the small star mark. Right, so we would recommend a small star mark, and I would get started with just basic heeling exercises without any distractions around. So if your dog is doing a little bit of pulling on the walk, especially when there's a distraction that comes into play, a piece of stimulus, you need to teach heeling with your puppy, but you also need to tell the people that you see in public, what? Don't pet my dog. You have a 5-month-old puppy. What does everyone do when they see a 5-month-old puppy? My baby girl! How was your day? Something like that, right? And when that happens, guess what? The puppy loses his freaking mind. Then he thinks that this is how I should greet people. So tell everybody, don't touch my dog or I'll kill you.
We actually have hats.
We have my little salesman, Rachel, we have tremendous hats. Next question.
How do you gradually expand a young adult or adult dog's area in the...
Holy shit, we got another Jenna Lee moment on our hands. Let's restart. Maybe it's how they... Right, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
How do you gradually expand a young adult dog's area as you potty train them? Okay. Our 12-month-old lab is a champ in the areas where we can watch him and in a few rooms where he is used to being, even if we don't watch him all the time. No guarantee.
Yeah, no, I get you. Okay. So you have a dog who's peeing and you've confined his space, which is a beautiful thing, right? We talked about this with puppies, young adults. If you have a dog who's not potty trained and he is peeing in the house, you confine his space. Say I confine my dog to only the kitchen and 1 month has gone by where he's not made an accident, I will give him a second room. I am that strict. I don't give a second room because if I give it too soon, what happens? Then I'm screwed. Then he starts peeing in the house and I gotta confine the space and I've pushed it too far. So 1 room for 1 month, he does good, 2 rooms. He does good in 2 rooms, 3 rooms, and so on and so forth. Keep the areas super confined, guys. Next question.
Okay, she has 4 Yorkies.
Oh, wow, that's a lot. Yep.
Hi guys, I'm trying to teach manners when it comes to dinner time. I can get all pups to sit in front of their food and not eat, but I'm having a hard time getting them to understand release so they can go eat. They just continue to sit there. Any helpful hints?
Add in a hand signal, and if you have to, throw in a treat. All right, so you have all 4 dogs lined up. Okay, free. And then if I need to, I can just toss in a treat so they go, oh shit, okay, I'm going to run for it. You'll have to do that 3 or 4 times, and then they're going to get that pretty damn quick. Someone asked, where's Jenna Lee? Jenna Lee's sick. We got our spot on Phil and Rachel. Give me some. The problem is Rachel's probably going to, Jenna Lee's pissed. Next question.
When my son's friend leave, my GSD bites and jumps at them. He looks like a police dog on the hunt, but it's people he knows when they are in the house. So why does he do this when they leave?
Okay, so when they leave, he wants to control the situation, and guess what? You should let him control it. That's all that's happening, right? So we get a dog who, I'm getting text messages from clients. Sorry, guys, can't answer those right now. So we're getting a dog who is jumping up and trying to bite people and saying, hey, I don't want you to leave. Cool. What should go on when these people leave?
Leash.
And?
Collar.
Perfect. Leash and training collar, or where else could we put him?
In the crate.
Or?
Place and
Perfect. So you could put him in a stay when people leave. But here's my question. How many times does that person leave your house? Once. Make them leave multiple times. If you're only practicing once and they struggle, guys, and this goes for everything. If you practice one time and the dog struggles, they're going to fail. Have the person leave every hour on the hour or every half hour on the hour. Practice with leash. Put your dog into a sit. If he breaks the sit, correct him. Put him in a stay. If he breaks the stay, correct him. If he does well, treat him. And practice it over and over and over again. Next question.
Better generally.
Perfect. Yeah, feel better generally. Yep.
Hi, Vinnie and Rachel. I have 11-month-old pup, and she does great going out to potty, but during the nighttime, she still wakes us up at 5 a.m. to go out. We let her out at 11 for the night. How do we get her to sleep in a little?
Perfect. When she wakes up at 5 a.m., don't let her out. You're going to run. So she's 5 months old? 11 months old. Oh my God. Don't let her out. She's going to start whimpering, and your dog trained you so well, dear. Your dog trained you so well that she knows if I whimper, what happens?
You're going to come let me out.
You're going to come let me out. It's like a kid who falls. Listen, if your kid falls on the street, he's fine. Don't run to him. Don't go, oh my God. Let him cry. Shut up. You're going to be fine. That's the same mentality you want to have with a puppy. Now, if it's 8 weeks old, it's completely different. But this is an 11-month-old dog who we know can hold their bladder longer than 6 hours. Don't let them out. Make sure the crate is confined, not a huge space, that they have enough space to pee in it. Next question.
Why do you use choke collars? Do you believe in positive reinforcement?
Do I believe in positive reinforcement? That's an honest question that we're going to have right now. So here's the thing. I'm going to go on a tangent. You can put the papers down. You could breathe. Take your time.
I'm going to have a sip of
There's a huge difference, guys, between positive reinforcement and purely positive training. 75 to 85% of what I do is positive reinforcement. 75 to 85%. We're rewarding good behavior. But if you own, so dog training is, we use what's called operant conditioning, right? So there's positive and negative reinforcement, positive and negative punishment. If I only use one of these 4 quadrants, I will fail. If Tiger Woods went out golfing and only used one of his 9 clubs in his bag, he would not be the greatest golfer of all time. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. You use tools to give you an advantage to train your dog. And this is how it should work. Now, a lot of people go, and by the way, it's not choke collar, prong collars and star marks. Now, when people go, oh, it hurts them. No, it doesn't. Have you tried it? Have you tried it on? If you try it on, then you're going to see, okay, well, maybe this is how it works. But there's a huge, listen, you could abuse anything too, by the way. You could abuse food. You could abuse a harness. You could abuse affection at the wrong time. It's not about the collar. It's about, do I have the knowledge on how to use it properly? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. But yeah, positive reinforcement, we see this all the time, guys. And people try to pin oh, he's a negative reinforcement or a positive reinforcement trainer. No. They are either a purely positive trainer or they are a balanced dog trainer, somebody who's going to look at it from both ends of the spectrum. If you don't do that, you will fail. Next question. And one last thing, sorry. You're working with puppies. Uh-huh. 90% of everything you do is what?
Baby voice, positive voice.
Yeah, food, positive reinforcement. Just trying to teach the behavior. But when they have a behavior that's unacceptable, at some point you have to layer in a consequence for misbehavior or it will continue forever. Next question.
Our 1-year-old German Shepherd Beagle Mix cannot calm down when people come into our home. She appears to be fearful because she barks aggressive and her hackles are raised. We ask our guests to ignore her until she calms down a bit. Then we have to have them get on her level with arms out and let her come to them. However, she appears to still be on edge, and if someone makes any fast movement or loud noises, she falls back into fearful mode. Mm-hmm. She only acts this way with guests in our home and never strangers on the street walking. We don't know how to make her more comfortable or confident in this situation. Is there anything else we should be doing?
So if you have a nervous dog, what I don't want is I don't want the guest to actually invite the dog over anymore. I want the dog on their own to go over when ready, when you say it's okay. So when your dog is calm and relaxed, you can give your dog a little bit more freedom to go sniff the dog. Here's the easiest way to look at nervous dogs. They don't know what to do. If I go to work and no one tells me what to do for the day, I'm going to stress out. I'm going to stress out so freaking bad because I have no clue what's expected from myself. If someone tells me what to do at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, I'm going to crush it because I know what's expected. So you have to coach your dog the entire time that a guest is here. All right, so I have to put my dog on place more. I have to put him in sit more, put him in down more. When my dog completes commands, I treat. I don't want this guest to interact too much with my dog until my dog is ready. Don't do anything until your dog consents to affection, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because if you bum rush this dog or if you go, my buddy, it's going to freak him back out. Let him do it on his own. Your dog's life will not get better if other people pet him. That's not going to be the greatest thing of all time. Your dog's life will get better when he knows what's expected from himself. Next question.
Our 4-month-old Corgi will not stop licking us. Extremely adorable at first, but it gets to be so much. We feel bad yelling at her because she's not really hurting anything, but it's like excessive licking.
Okay, so a couple of things. Don't allow it. Don't think that it's... So if it bothers you, it bothers you. You can't have it. It doesn't bother me at times and it bothers me. If your dog licks you and you don't like it, don't allow it. Now, if you want, spray bitter apple on your hands or some nastiness on your hands so the dog understands, okay, that sucks and that's very uncomfortable. But stop getting down on the dog's level and let him lick you all over the place. It's just annoying. That's the easiest thing to do. Spray your hands. Spray something nasty on your hands so you don't taste as appetizing. And probably take a shower every now and again, too. Just joking. Next question.
Why does my dog hate being rained on / wet? He literally gets so grumpy and growls even sometimes when he's wet.
Okay, so here's the thing that happens, Rach. You ready? Mm-hmm. So you get a puppy or a dog. You go out to the bathroom when it's raining. Hurry up, come on, let's go. Hurry up. And we make them panic over the fact that it's raining. Here's what I want you guys to do. Spend an hour or 2 or 3 hours outside in the rain. They'll get over it. Get some high-value food, play some games, get a ball, do whatever you want. Here's the thing that happened. It was pouring down raining this morning. I let my dogs out, went to do my things. I look back outside. All 3 of my idiot dogs are laying in the rain getting drenched on. Because they don't care. For them, it's fine. Now, people go, oh, then you have to brush or dry them off. That's why you get a dog. Who cares? Don't get a dog if him getting wet is going to offend you. Next question.
How do you teach...
Yeah, great. Yeah, wow, great. Rach, great job by you, Rach. So I had one follow-up point to that. The biggest way to fix it is get out there more often and do more things with him more frequently. Next question.
How do you teach a dog not to beg? We never give him anything other than dog food. And how do you teach the drop it command?
So, okay. Two questions. Who has that?
A and B.
Jay, you get one question, and then you can add another question, different comment. Now I got to go in 2 different directions here, Jay. How do you get him not to beg? Guys, never give him human food. You're doing great on that. But once again, if your dog is begging, it's because he doesn't know what he should be doing. If your dog is begging, it's because you're not having him in command. Why is he not in command? When I eat dinner with a puppy, my puppy goes into the crate. So he understands when I eat, you stay away from me. Now, if I eat dinner with an adult dog, he goes in stay or on place. He goes away from me, but if he doesn't know what's expected, then he's got the opportunity to beg. But I'm giving him that opportunity, guys. Don't forget that. How do you teach drop it? Drop it is simple. We use tug toys to teach drop it, and we use what's called a passive out. There's a great video on our YouTube channel about the passive out, and that's how I would teach drop it. Next question.
How do I get my German Shepherd to stop eating her poop?
Go outside with her on leash every time. So there's 2 ways to do it. A lot of people who have electric fences, they'll have a dog who eats their shit because the dog goes out freely and can freely eat the shit. You need to go outside manually with your dog. You need to teach them leave it in the house, and then you need to give them the opportunity to eat the poop when you're out there and correct them with a leave it command and a consequence from the leash and collar if need be. But if your dog's eating poop, you go outside with them every single time. Next question.
What do you do for barking?
So barking is a sign of boredom and anxiety, right? So I need to make sure I'm exercising my dog a lot. I need to make sure that I'm giving him enough mental and physical exertion, so on and so forth. Now, if my dog is barking at me, then that is not acceptable, right? If I'm sitting here, my dog is barking at me, you go in it down and you stay here. Or what I'll try to do is catch it before the dog does it. I'll give them something else to do, a little training session, then put him in his crate. Most dogs bark because they have no concept of what alone time is, like children, right? They're entitled little brats. So what I need to do with my dog is give him the option to just shut down by using the crate more frequently. If he's barking at things on the outside, that's different. You're going to have to correct, but that's how I would fix barking at me. Teach my dog that from 6 to 7, and it doesn't always have to be the same. For an hour or 2, you go and you eat alone time. Next question.
Quinn is a hound pit mix and is biting when she is excited. Any tips on how I can get her to stop? I do use toys in place of her biting sometimes, but that doesn't always work.
Wow, it's a tremendous hat. Thank you very much, guys. These actually hats are for sale at the doghouse. They're actually tremendous hats. And do you see my black scrunchie back here, dog? How about that? That's style at its finest. Nice little black scrunchie hidden back there. Can't even see it. It's tremendous.
You know what else is hidden?
My hair.
Gray ones.
Dude, my gray hair's rich. Thanks for bringing that up. Oh, wow, you're fired. So dog is nipping and biting, a hound mix who's nipping and biting. So at some point you have to add in a consequence, right? So we've tried, here's the 4 things I would do for nipping and biting. My dog starts nipping, or before he starts nipping, it means he has a good bit of energy. I want to take him for a walk. I want to do some obedience training with him. I want to give him a high value bone. Done all those, Rach. He still nips and bites. I either use a leash, I use a squirt bottle, I use a pet corrector, I layer something in that says, listen, if you continue to do this, I'm going to add something uncomfortable to your life. Whatever that is for your dog, everything aversive is different for each dog. Sometimes it's just a firm no. Sometimes you squirt them. Sometimes you correct them on leash. Whatever it is for your particular dog, you have to know their personality. Next question.
For our boxer puppy Leia, one of the most difficult things we're having trouble with is stealing shoes. We've tried redirection and also a hard no with the squirt bottle like Rachel taught us, but it's still something that she won't stop doing. Any other recommendations for this?
Breaking or stealing shoes. Okay, so this was a great question, right? So the first thing is why, and it's a puppy.
Yeah.
So why does my dog have the option to get the shoe? Make sense? Mm-hmm. If I leave my shoe out and I know of a puppy who's going to steal the shoe, I need to take a very big baseball bat and bash my face in because I'm giving him the option to steal a shoe. Now, that's option one. Option two is we have to continue to teach leave it, right? We have to teach leave it away from the shoe so that you can teach leave it and set it up when it's real life, right? So then I can take the shoe, put it on the ground, sneak around the corner, the dog goes for it, and I go, leave it, and the dog goes, hey, I know that command. But if the first time I try to do that is when there's the shoe around and I'm not there, we're going to fail. Mm-hmm. We're going to fail every single time. So guys, if your puppy's not ready for it, don't leave things around, hide them, and then teach leave it on the backside so eventually you can leave the shoe out. But don't get upset with them if they're not ready for that. Next question.
How do I make my dog more confident and less afraid of everything? Almost 4-year-old pitty mix, Olive.
How do I make my dog more confident and less afraid of everything? Wow, that is a loaded question. You need to start engaging with them more. If you have a afraid dog, hunger is your greatest asset. So with dogs like this, I cut back their food or I don't feed them and I hand feed them everything, and we do all training all feeding through training. So then I take their dog dish and I make them do simple obedience in the house, sit down, place, come down, stay, leave it, the whole 9 yards. And as my dog gets better at obedience training in the house, I'll do it outside. I'll teach a proper leash walk so I can start to leash walk. And I make it all fun and enjoyable for the dog. But I have to do it when they're hungry. If you feed a dog and then try to do training, they have zero motivation, right? Like if I were to get paid before I came to your house and just said, well, I don't want to go to your house. I already got paid. I'll just see you later. If there's no consequence for that, then why would I continue to do it? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So use hunger to your advantage. Somebody asked, why not a small baseball bat? Why instead of a big baseball bat? Use the big one. Believe me. Next question.
And you won't miss.
Yeah, that's right. Not a girl.
How do you get your butthead to stop chasing the cat? She's tore him up a few times and he still hasn't learned.
How do you get your butthead to stop chasing the cat? She's tore him up a few times and she still hasn't.
Look how cute.
It is a cute dog. I thought that was the cat in its mouth. It's just a gingerbread stuffed animal.
No. Could you imagine?
Yeah, that'd be terrible. How do you get your dog to stop chasing the cat? You really need to, always give the cat an escape route. Don't lock them into the same room. Use leash, training collar, prong collar, and walk your dog around when the cat is around, and then perfect the place command. And you can also use the crate to your advantage too. But you cannot give your dog the option to make a mistake. If it's really bad, it sounded like it was, I don't know if it was play or not, but if it's really bad, you need to muzzle train your dog when you guys get them together, and don't overly force your dog to be there. Just let it happen naturally. But you have to do more obedience training with that dog as well. Next question.
5-month-old Frenchie. How do I get him to stop barking? He was barking when he wanted something. I was able to get him to stop when he wanted picked up or fed, or pretty much everything else. He barks. He barks if he's left in a room by himself.
Boy.
And knows someone else is home. Barks at the cat constantly. Barks at his boxer brother constantly. I tried telling him shh, then waiting a few seconds, and then rewarding him, but apparently I need train. That's what she wrote.
Dude, you're teaching him what not, you're teaching him Listen. This dog needs to learn that the life does not revolve around your dog. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to start crating your dog at night no matter what. You're going to crate him 3 or 4 times throughout the day, and he needs to learn the value of alone time. This dog is one needy son of a gun. He is just all... Don't run back to him. You never come out of the crate whining or barking. You come out of the crate when you're calm. And if it's been 20 seconds, you're calm, cool, I'll let you out. Sometimes I'll make you wait 10 minutes. But you cannot give in to little things like this, and never treat your dog for doing something that they shouldn't be doing in the first place, right? So say my dog jumps up on people, all right? And he doesn't jump up on me, but he's still acting crazy. Well, I don't give him a treat for doing that. That's an expected behavior. You shouldn't jump on me in the first place. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. But don't go shh, treat. That's bad. Don't do that. You're going to end up teaching something that you don't want, so cut that one out immediately. Ask yourself, why is your dog doing all this? It sounds like he's bored and he doesn't know what alone time is. Start doing more activities with your dog as well. Next question.
Trevor bites the back of Dobby's legs when they play. Can I get him to stop?
Yeah, now dogs roughhouse in different ways, and some dogs, so your two dogs are going to play different than they would with other dogs, right? So Thurman and Xena play different at my house than they would Xena does at the doghouse. So here they play pretty rough because they're social with each other. They know each other. They know what's too much and what's not enough. Down at the doghouse with new dogs, Xena's way more like, okay, I'm going to take my time until she gets to know them. And then they figure that little, I don't want to call it a pecking order because it's not a pecking order. It's just social skills. They figure out how do we deal with each other. If it's really, really bad, yeah, you can stop it. Every time he starts to do that, tell him no, put him in a sit, and he's not allowed to continue to play until you tell him it's time. That's going to take a really long time for him to understand, but that's okay. Just be consistent with it is the biggest thing. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Cool. Next question.
How do you practice place? I'm a visual person. Can you show me how it's done? I'd love to start this with my dog. I'd also like to say thank you for all the other training tips you've helped me with.
You know what, Linda? Listen, Linda. Listen, Linda. Dude, that is a classic video.
Listen, Linda.
Listen, Linda. All right, so here's the thing. When you have a dog who needs to teach place, we're in my house today rather than the doghouse, and I do not want to give a tour right now because my maid has not come this week, although it's pretty clean.
Well, you have the Millennium Falcon.
The Millennium Falcon is up. There's no doubt about it. Dude, good call him the right name too, son. Yeah. Jesus. So here's how you're going to teach place. You're going to stand up. You're going to grab your leash. You're going to grab a dog bed. You're going to have a pocket full of treats. We're going to walk our dog up. So my dog's in a sit. I say, place. He walks up. He sits down. Treat. Free. Goal. Sit. Good job. Place. I walk him up. He sits down. Treat. Free. I'm going to do that 20 times. Right? Then I'm going to start going further away, and I'm going to stop going the whole way to the bed. My end goal is that I can say place, and he hops up onto the bed on his own, and I don't have to physically walk him. Then I start building in time to the session by giving him a treat, waiting 5 seconds, giving him a treat, then freeing him. Then waiting 10 seconds and 3 intervals, and so on and so forth. Place is a great command. We'll put up another place video. We have a really good one on sending them to place, but we'll put up one similar to this on how to do it. Me and you will do that one.
Okay.
Cool. Next question.
How can I get my dog to not be all jumpy, nervous around a new baby?
Is the baby here yet? And if the baby's not here yet, you need to start playing baby crying noise on your phone. You need to put the baby crying noise in the phone in a towel on the ground and pick it up. When your dog jumps up, you correct them. You're trying to simulate the best you possibly can. That's the easiest way to do it. So you play that wah, crying noise. It's and the dog's like, oh my God, what the hell is that? And you pick it up. They jump up. You immediately correct them. And you put them back into a sit. And you're going to practice this 1,000,000 times before the baby's here. When you guys do have a kid or a new baby, you need to make sure you get all the baby shit up in the house as soon as possible. Why? You got to get your dog accustomed to all that stuff right out of the get-go. So that's how I would go about that.
What if the baby's already here?
If the baby's already here, then you practice the same thing, and then you would practice with a live baby. But you can't
Sacrifice the baby.
Sacrifice. Simba! But yeah, you would do the same thing with a towel and then add in the baby. But you need to have the ability to put your dog into a sit or in a down, whatever you guys want. So there's 2 things that you guys should take away from a lot of the things that I say. If you're going to try to correct a behavior, that's phenomenal. But you also need to teach a new one. I can't just remove something and say, okay, you're done doing that, but I'm not going to give you something else to do. That's not how dogs work. So if I'm going to correct the jumping, once I correct it, now what do? If you just correct the jumping and they stand there and they go, holy shit, now what? They're going to make the mistake over and over again. So then give them a command. So if you correct the jumping, good, sit. Perfect. Then I walk away. And we continue to go through that with almost anything in your dog's life. Next question.
What can you do for barking? He exercises, is let out, and is shown attention, but someone will just bark at the top of his lungs.
Yeah, this is another dog who needs to understand. So for me, you're exercising, I'm letting him out and playing with him. That's great. Make sure it's not him exercising by himself. There's a huge difference between your dog running in the backyard and you training your dog. There's a huge difference between math class for a child and recess. Recess is wide open, no rules, no structure. That does not get kids or dogs tired. They get tired on focus. Exercise your dog, put him in the crate, keep him there for an hour. Let him out, exercise, play with him, feed him, put him back into the crate. Teach him to stay as calm as possible. Got it? Mm-hmm. Next question.
What type of training collar do you recommend when training Italian Greyhounds with their tiny, long, thin necks?
It just depends on the size, because the size range could, and what I would suggest is if we really have to put a collar on him, I need to see the dog. I can't give it just because I don't want to give bad information without seeing the actual dog. Send me a picture of the dog and I'll absolutely tell you what kind of collar I would put on him or what kind of equipment I would use with that particular dog. Next question.
We rescued our Rottweiler puppy in August. He is now 15 months old. Recently, he has developed severe separation anxiety. Even if we leave him for 1 hour, he'll destroy anything in that short time frame. Mm-hmm. It happened out of nowhere. He was doing so well, and now we're going to have to crate him when we leave him, which is unfortunate, and not sure how we're going to do this since he hasn't been crated since September. Help.
All right, so a couple things that I would do here. Number one, I want you, what's her name, Gina? Gina, do me a favor. Look at me, dear. Look at me. Deep freaking breath. You have a 15-month-old dog, and you made one big mistake. You let him out of the crate too soon. It's that simple. It's no big deal. You just have to put him back in. Now, the problem is that, and you mentioned this at the end, is you're going to try to put him back in the crate, and he's not going to like it. You need to go through the crate protocol. You need to feed him in there. What's up, Gina? Good. Breathe, baby. Breathe, sister.
That's me.
But you need to put him back into the crate, dear. You need to make sure you're feeding the meals in the crate. We're going to practice our place or kennel command into the crate. And you're going to start crating him while you're home. And if I have to, I'll crate him while I'm sleeping. No big deal. He came out too soon. We try it. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't work. Put him back in for another 6 months to a year to however long that you want. But you have to confine this dog's space. And dogs go through this period where they go, I'm going to chew shit up. And it happens one day, and then all of a sudden, that's a learned behavior. And that is the kiss of death. So now we just got to break the learned behavior. Make sure that before you put him in, you're exercising. Don't leave your dog for 9 hours without doing anything with him. That's totally unfair. Next question.
I just have to say that all the training and videos you have posted have been really helping my golden doodle Cooper. Last night we had some people here putting in a new floor and he was excited for about 5 minutes. And after that he laid around watching them work with no problem. Oh, this isn't a question. I couldn't believe it, so thank you for all the training tips.
Dude, I'll tell you what, guys. When I get comments like this, it makes me so freaking happy. That's the freaking coolest thing of all time. Thank you guys for watching. The fact that people actually tune in, ask questions continually every week. This is week 27, Rach. Mm-hmm. Continually every week.
I remember the first one.
Dude, yeah, you were on one of the early ones.
That's not.
Yes, you were.
My first one.
Oh, whatever. Next question. You're fired. I actually, show of hands, shoot me a comment. Who believes that we should get Rachel? Oh my goodness, I keep flipping my camera. God bless it. Who believes that Rachel needs to come on more episodes? I mean, she's tremendous. So generally, me, Rach, we add in some new people. The problem is that I have the laziest employees of all time. And then, I'm just joking. On a serious note, I am the luckiest human being on this planet because I do have the greatest employees of all time, from everybody top to bottom, including Miss Rachel here. But everybody, they're unbelievable. We have a great team.
We do.
Michelle brought this up last week, like how not only are we a great team, but we have great people, and they're good people. They're fun to be around.
Oh my gosh. Anthony pulled up a map at his house just to get me to group class the other day. Like, he pulled up a map and said, what road are you on? And led me to the group class.
Yeah,
he had his own stuff to do. Yeah. He was just a good person.
Yeah, they're all very, 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 very good people. Next question.
Okay. I have a 5-pound, 9-year-old Yorkie that only knows how to give high five. He has no other skills.
I'm sorry, that's amazing. The way you put that is great. I love that.
He's not bad, but just doesn't listen very well. Will this present a problem when I hire you to train our 6-month mini golden doodle that is really bad?
No. Should you start implementing some rules and structure? Yes. Does it really matter if this dog's obedience isn't up to par? No. And why is that? Because you can do everything with a 6-month-old dog, and then as you're going and you start to understand better, you can implement the same things with your puppy. Excuse me. The one thing that I would say, guys, is that you just need to make sure that all the rules are in place. I don't care with the 5-pound Yorkie that he can give paw. All that I care about is he doesn't lose his mind when I come into the house. He doesn't freak out on my other dog for random things or try to steal his food or anything like that. But with a puppy, you need to start obedience training immediately. You need to start leash walking, the whole 9 yards. Next question.
I have a 13-month-old lab who has been in training and is doing very well. However, when we take him and our 10-year-old greyhound out together, he jumps on her. They get along very well except for this. We keep him on his leash even though the yard is fenced just so he can't jump on her. Is it possible to break him of this?
Yeah, man, absolutely. So what you're going to do, and you're doing a good job, right? So does Rachel know how to cook you Tuesday night supper? So Jennifer Ricard cooked the greatest dinner of all. Jenny, I sucked that up so fast.
You should have seen him. He was like a monster.
So 13-month-old dogs jumping on their other dog when they go into the backyard. Dear, you're doing a good job putting them on the leash, but don't keep them separate from the other dog the whole time. Because that's all you're doing, right? You're putting a big... Maureen Conway Balco said, no. She said, no, you can't cook dinner. Good job, Miss Balco. That's amazing. That's actually a classic mom move.
Oh my God.
You're putting a leash on your dog and not keeping him around your greyhound. But what you need to do is you need to, A, get a training collar, right? Hermspring prong collar, leash, because it's a lab. It's a big dog.
Yeah.
Leash, and start to do some training outside. But if my dog tries to jump up, correct, immediately put him into a sit. Then I would use a 10-foot leash, then a 15-foot leash, 20-foot leash, 30-foot leash, 45-foot leash, drop the leash. Let him do it. And then if, as needed, I would correct. But you slowly give him more and more freedom. Don't think, oh, he's got it on a 6-foot leash, he's perfect. No. Put him back on a longer line. Next question.
I'm lost. Okay.
Cool.
Are we supposed to do all
Oh, yeah, Rach.
I've never seen a page like this.
This is Instagram's questions.
I don't post questions like this.
This is the last page.
Is it?
Yeah. That's it. We already did this.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, why is one of my dogs, male, obsessed with my other dog's, male, but sniffs couch too? I think that might be crotch or couch.
Yeah, crotch. Yeah, you're probably right. Someone needs to do a little bit better job of wiping. But why is he obsessed with it? Because I do this all the time, and I say this, and I don't say this to be mean, because you've allowed it. So when he does it, just stop him from doing it, right? It's as simple as that. He goes to do it, just pull the leash, squirt him in the face, tell him no. Just say, dude, this is enough is enough. But eventually, he does that to the wrong dog long enough. What happens? He's going to get bit, right? Or growled at or snapped at. That is not good social skills. So don't be like huge, like, oh my God, no. Dude, no, stop it. It's just not acceptable. Next question.
Why does my pug lick everything?
Same exact thing, because we've allowed it. Now, you could use the bitter apple spray so the dog doesn't find a good taste to what he's doing. And that is a great option, but yeah, it's just because you've allowed it. Next question. And a lot of dogs who are anxious tend to pick up on jumping, barking, whining, digging, chewing, humping, spinning, licking, stealing shit. This is all a big sign of a dog who's anxious too. So make sure you guys are doing enough to get rid of the dog's energy. Next question.
Tips to acclimate a new setting. Moving from apartment to a house, he's only known the apartment.
Okay, so if you have a crate, make sure that you bring the same crate, the same dog beds, continue to do all that. When you do move, your dog is going to be a little bit more anxious than usual. Why? Well, because my dog is completely different. So how do you change that? You change it how do you counteract that, I should say? How do you counteract that? By doing more training with your dog right out of the get-go. Understand that it is stressful for you guys too. Your energy is going to be all over the place, whether you're excited about the move, you're panicking because the paint job is not good enough, but you got to make sure you give attention to your dog, especially the first couple weeks that you guys are there. Next question. Your energy plays a huge portion in everything that you guys do with your dog. If you're nervous, your dog cannot become calm. If you're mad, your dog is not going to become well behaved. You need to stay as cool as a cucumber. Next question.
Can I use Alexa to play thunder and fireworks sounds to desensitize my dog?
Hell yeah. And I wouldn't use Alexa. I would use my phone. So if you have a dog who is afraid, so I do this a lot with dogs who are afraid of thunderstorms. I just did this with a dog who was afraid of the fire alarm in the house, the beeping, like the chirping from the fire alarm. So what do? On a very low level, I turn on my iPhone's fire alarm on YouTube, and as soon as I get that on, I will start doing obedience training. Keep it really, really low. Don't keep the volume high. Keep the very, very, very low. So, and I go as far away from it as I need it, and I do some fun obedience training, or I play ball with him, I do something he enjoys, I start to get closer to the noise and turn the noise up as the dog is better with it. I do this outside on a walk, I put it in my phone, I do some training, I turn the volume up a little bit as we go, so on and so forth. Take your time with this, guys, but you can absolutely desensitize your dog to this. Then, when the thunder comes, I go in the basement and I do my training game. And I get closer by going up top. Like when I rescued Thurman, he was petrified of garbage trucks. So we would, and the dumbest thing in the world. So we would just go walk with garbage trucks and do training. He enjoyed the training more than he was afraid of the garbage truck. And then eventually that just overcame the fear. Next question.
How do I help my dog become more comfortable in a new environment? Just moved. We just kind of did that.
Yeah, same thing. Next question.
Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
Would I rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck? I mean, could you imagine how cute the little horsey ducks would be?
But coming at you, like trying to fight you?
I would fight one horse-sized duck. I would knock him out. I'd DDT him.
He's horse-sized.
He's horse-sized. All right, next question, Rach. Why did you read that, Rach? You got to know that. You skipped through those questions.
I skipped that one, but this one I wanted to know. When can the... Oh, I think that's it. Sorry.
No, that's good. Anything else?
No.
Oh, no, you could ask that one.
When can the public expect a follow-up to your hit single, Gotta Walk Your Dog?
Gotta walk your... Oh, man, how does it go? I can't remember the
even know
lyrics.
what that
What's
is.
the song that I used for that, Rach? Oh, my God, bless it.
Is
Rachel.
it digging up them holes?
No, come on, Rach.
That's what I could...
Storm Rider, something like
Oh,
that.
Riding on the Storm.
Riding on the
Riders
storm.
on the Storm.
Riders on... Gotta walk your dog. Walk him down the street. He has needs you have to meet. You gotta walk your dog. You gotta walk your dog. I can't remember the other lines, but thank you guys so much for watching. It was great to chat with you. Continue to train your dog. FYI, your maid quit. That's a beautiful thing. Riders on the Storm. Love you guys. You guys are the greatest people of all time. It was the Doors. I love you guys.
I wasn't listening.
Remember, properly trained dogs can be what, Rach?
Can be a man's best friend.
Boom. You know what? Hey, Rach, we still have some people here, so let's talk about puppies a little bit.
Okay.
So we're talking with puppies. Let's talk about some common mistakes people make with puppies.
All right.
Let's name some.
Potty training.
Perfect. What do they do wrong with potty training?
Giving too much room.
Perfect.
Giving way too much room.
What do
With usually when I come into a house with a fresh puppy, there's not a lot of potty gates, which really come in handy. Giving a puppy a limited amount of space is probably the biggest thing that comes in handy when you're potty training a dog. So when I don't see baby gates, I think that is the first thing I mention when we go over issues with potty training. Yeah, and remember, your dog's not going to pee in front of you at the same rate that they would pee away from you. They're always going to get away from you to go pee. Right. I think another thing we talk about is people taking their dog out of the crate too soon or feeling bad about using the crate when they're home. Yeah, you shouldn't feel bad about using the crate. I hear a lot of times, oh, I don't want to use it as a punishment, but it's not really. I would never use or consider using the crate as a punishment, especially you're always going to put your dog in there with a treat or with something nice to chew on, and especially after you've exercised them. So it's not like you're torturing them or putting them in there as a bad thing. They're den animals, guys. They enjoy being in a den. You have to understand that. But what I want you guys to do is use the crate more frequently while you're home. Don't just only use it when you're away. That doesn't set a great precedent for the crate. Make sense? Yeah. I always say use it for eating, for treats, for like you can throw a toy in there to play, and use it for a training session. Cool. I love it. Anything else you want to talk about? I had a session today where there were we worked with kids. Yes. And, with the training, it's hard because nipping with kids is probably the scariest part of having a new puppy. Yeah. And they don't want to get involved with the puppy because the puppy nips them. There's just, the best thing you can do when you have a puppy who nips your kid is one, Make sure your kid's not freaking out in
Yes.
the moment.
Yes.
The first thing they want to do is scream and run away, but that's actually the worst thing that they can do in the moment. So instead, we stay calm, we walk to a table, we walk somewhere that the puppy can't get us, and then we correct after.
Yes. So, and that's the biggest thing. And another thing we got to make sure of, guys, is that the kids should be involved in somewhat of the process. They can stand next to you while you go sit down and give a treat. Mm-hmm. They can stand next to you while you take them for a little walk and walk them around. But the kids have to become part of the training. They cannot become just the human chew toys. And you got to make sure that this is common sense, but common sense is not all that common. Don't leave your dog in with your kids and then go upstairs and then come down and the kids are freaking out and you've now missed 30 seconds of your chance to stop this behavior because now it's become learned, which is a huge problem. I agree. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Home freaking run, dude. That was a good show.
Yeah, it was.
And I actually only went through 1.5 bottles of water.
Yeah.
It's because we're
2 extra ones.
I know. It's because we're in this home environment. I kind of like this home environment show.
It's not as stressed.
It's
That's why
nice.
we train in home.
That's why we train in home. Rachel, what a brilliant job by you. Because when we train in your environment, remember, the environment creates the dog. So if I take the dog out of their typical environment, they're completely different. Completely different. Mm-hmm. So you need to train in the dog's environment. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Remember, properly trained dogs. Oh, look at my nose. Jesus. It's face on, straight on.
It's the lighting.
It's the lighting. I agree. You guys have a great night. I'm done with you.